The new B&M Hypercoaster Orion that stands 287 feet tall will be the newest roller coaster at Kings Island. But what did it replace? What was on that ground before Orion was there? I'll tell you what, it was a flying Vekoma Dutchman named Firehawk. In this video, we will be recreating Firehawk on Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic, running a test run on it, and comparing its test results to Orion, to see if we're getting a good and fair trade-off here. We already know that Orion is a great coaster, because Roller Coaster Tycoon has told us so, but how does it compare to what it replaced? Welcome to Roller Coaster Airtime. I hope you all understood and appreciated my humor at the beginning of the video. If you didn't get it, let's just say that some people think a Giga Coaster has to be 300 feet tall to be advertised as a Giga Coaster, which Orion is. It technically stands 287 feet tall. I'm just hating a little bit and trying to get you all wild up. Let me know in the comments what you call Orion and what your thoughts are on what a true Giga Coaster is qualified. But for right now, let's get back to Firehawk. First of all, we have to understand Firehawk and the fan base that has been behind Firehawk for a long time. Firehawk goes way back before Kings Island. It was actually one of the most popular roller coasters, named X-Flight at Geauga Lake in Ohio. To make a long story short, Geauga Lake was eventually bought out by Cedar Fair. Cedar Fair also owns Kings Island. Oddly enough, Kings Island is also in Ohio, so Geauga Lake was closed down by Cedar Fair, and X-Flight was able to be moved into the same state, which kind of gave it a new life, especially to its fan base. So their fan base has been around for a long time, and they basically traveled from Geauga Lake to Kings Island with this ride. Not only does it have a major fan base behind it, it also is still a crowd pleaser. Like, it's really cool to the general public when they go in and like see a flying coaster. Everybody thinks that's the coolest thing in the world. I really don't particularly care for them. I would love a B&M anything, Hyper, Giga, it doesn't matter, over a Vekoma Flying Dutchman, but it is a unique experience. I'm not saying it's a bad ride, I'm just saying those B&Ms are that good. But these roller coasters like this are crowd pleasers, plus they have a fan base from a smaller local park that was in the same state. You know, it's a recipe for disaster for Kings Island from a PR standpoint. Now, despite all of that, these roller coasters, especially these Vekoma Flying Dutchman designs, are known for having downtime by being broken down. Operations are pretty rough on them. They can have slow, long lines because of how they have to be restrained in there. They're known to be kind of uncomfortable for a lot of people. They tend to make some people kind of dizzy. And they also, a lot of stuff flies out of people's pockets. If you're going to lose your phone out of your pocket or your wallet or something, it's probably going to happen on this ride. It's just the way you're laying in your pockets, you know, it just falls out. So I mean, there was some downsides to it, especially from an operations point for Kings Island. I don't think Vekoma makes these anymore, so they can't get parts for it anymore. So when it is broke, it's very expensive to get fixed. You're looking at either custom parts or just taking from another coaster that's still operating somewhere. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul, which is probably what they're doing with the parts from this ride. They're probably using these parts for Nighthawk down in Carowinds and other Vekoma Flying Dutchmans in the Cedar Fair chain. Random thought, going back to things falling out of people's pockets on this ride, I can specifically recall twice that I've seen people's flip-flops come flying off on rides like this. Once on Batwing at Six Flags America in Maryland, and the other one was on Nighthawk at Carowinds. I did ride Firehawk, but when I was younger. I don't remember that happening there, but it does have a tendency of remembering people to lose things on rides like this. Now that I have the coaster completed, you can see it's the typical layout for these Flying Dutchman designs. Sometimes they're inverted and go the opposite way, like turns from the hill the opposite way as this one does, and they'll go back and forth. They're just flip-flop of each other, but they all have that same loop, the same big flying turns with the big helix, like where it makes you fly out. That's really all there is to it. Like I said, I've never really particularly cared for them a whole lot. You don't feel a whole lot of movement. You're just kind of staring straight at the ground, in my opinion. But here it comes down the first hill into your first big turn. Just another big run out hill into another big run out turn. I mean, a massive turn. This sets you up for your first inversion, which is your loop. It's going to flip you back over to flying position. Another big flying turn over top of chain lift. Another big flying turn, and you get to go into this was my favorite part. It was like that slow barrel roll all the way around. Then you do this kind of pointless helix again. You're just looking at the ground, can't see where you're going. Hits the brake run, and that's it. That's the ride. So let's look at Firehawk's actual stats, because we want to try to compare it to what I was able to create. 115 feet tall, top speed of 50 miles per hour. I know we did not get that tall, because that thing would just be insane if we did. So we'll wait and see here how close we were able to get. Yeah, we were close on the speed, 2 miles per hour off, 70 feet off on the height. So it's just not possible. So let's see what this rating is going to be. Excitement, intensity, and nausea. That's what we're here for. Before we compare Firehawk's stats, let's look at Orion's ratings. We had a 7.5 high excitement rating and a 8.3 intensity rating, very high, and medium nausea. Very good, solid ratings from Roller Coaster Tycoon. Let's see what we get from Firehawk. We're looking for that 7.5 on the excitement. That would be a great one to beat. Can't get the excitement rating. We did. We beat the intensity rating. We're going to save it. This is definitely savable. I'll use this in a park someday. It'll be a crowd pleaser for sure. The nausea rating's higher. So Orion overall will be a better ride, like I predicted. I think Roller Coaster Tycoon's crazy for ranking this so high. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you were a big Firehawk fan and think that these ratings should have been higher, I'd like to hear your rationale, and I'd like to hear your testimony to X-Flight, aka Firehawk. I love all roller coasters for all reasons. Which brings me to my next point. If you also love roller coasters, then you should subscribe to our channel. We make a new Roller Coaster Tycoon recreated roller coaster every single day. We also visit roller coasters at different parks and bring the vibe to you in our What's the Vibe series. So if you want to be notified each time that we recreate a new roller coaster or talk about roller coasters, then hit the bell. That way you'll be notified. As promised, here's the link for Orion in case you have not seen the recreated Roller Coaster Tycoon version of it yet. And make sure you come back tomorrow for Roller Coaster Airtime. We'll see you then.